Every day, millions of small and medium-sized businesses need to send their money across borders. For nearly a century, the only way to do this has been a lengthy and fee-ridden process through the bank's SWIFT system. That was until Veem arrived on the scene. We're going to learn more about this Silicon Valley startup's Ottawa roots this week on Techopia Live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Techopia Live. I'm your host, Craig Lord, the editor here at Techopia. This week we are back at Bayview Yards in the accelerator space, surrounded by some of Invest Ottawa's hard-working startups. This week we are talking about Fintech, about a new solution to send money with fewer fees, fewer transactions involved through the blockchain. The interesting startup that's doing this is Veem, and we have brought the Vice President of Operations, Sheila James, here to join us. Welcome, Sheila, to the show.
Thanks, Craig. Great to be here.
Awesome. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the solution, but before we get to that, the problem that we're facing here is when small businesses, medium-sized businesses are sending their money, they're usually doing it through the bank's SWIFT system, which involves many transactions, many different currency conversions across the bank's networks until it finally arrives at the intended destination, the intended recipient. What is Veem doing, though, that circumvents this, that helps small and medium-sized businesses send their money without all this hassle?
Yeah, great question, Craig. I mean, really, even as individuals, we've often sent a wire transfer. And when you really think about the user experience, you've maybe gone to your bank or you've gone online, you had to know all of the recipient's details, their name, their address, you had to get their banking information correct if they have the right banking information, you fill in lengthy forms and you send the funds off. Then the next thing you have to do is you have to go to the recipient and say, by the way, I've sent the funds, you should be getting it in the next few days. If you don't, let me know. So there's a lot of tag teaming going on there, and this was really the problem that Veem was trying to solve. It really is about a user experience on a very aged and out-of-date system. And so we have really made it an online experience. We've built out a global payment network, and it's not only for the sender of the funds, but also for the recipients of the funds. They both get to participate and communicate in the transaction. So imagine if you could send funds as easily if you could locally, just by providing their name and their email address. Now the recipient can come on board on the payment network, claim the payment, provide all of their information very easily. That's it. You both know when the payment's on the move and you know when the payment's being received. Really makes it a much simplified experience for both the sender and the receiver of the funds.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's a no-brainer. It sounds like this is how it should always have been. Why is it taking us so long to actually get this? Why has there been barriers to this? Is there new technology involved here? What's the solution here?
Yeah, so I mean, when you think about the problem you're trying to solve and trying to solve that globally, you're dealing with many different payment rails, local regulations. As a fintech, it's easy to kind of come in and break the mold and try to do something innovative. You kind of mentioned about Veem doing some work with cryptocurrency. We were, really one of the first applications, real life live applications of cryptocurrency, where we were using Bitcoin to move funds from one country to another and then doing the payout. Well, now you've taken out all the timely intermediary bank steps. We've made it a much more predictable experience. We've taken out those fees for both the receivers and the senders, so the right amount is reaching the destination, and using new technology is what really helped us build a new innovative payment network.
Mm-hmm. And it's an interesting story, maybe one that people watching today might associate with a Silicon Valley startup. There is a San Francisco base for Veem. There's been hundreds of millions raised in funding so far for Veem, and it's one of those typical stories. But why are we talking about it here in Ottawa, Sheila? What's the roots here out in Kanata actually for Veem?
Yeah, so I mean, really we have very strong roots here in Ottawa and Kanata. Our CEO, Marwan Forsley, is from Ottawa. He's a Carleton University graduate, and he and I have been working together for 22 years. We've partnered together. This is not our first rodeo, as they say. We, in fact, have done another startup in the payment space where we were facilitating consumer-to-business payments, and that was acquired by Western Union. And with Western Union, we got to work on person-to-person payments globally. So we have strong depth in understanding both payments for individuals and payments movement around the world. Marwan now lives in San Francisco, and it's where we started this company. But right from the beginning, the intent was to build it out in two cities. It really is the tale of two cities. San Francisco and Ottawa complement each other extremely well. We complement each other well in both innovation capabilities. I mean, San Francisco is an extremely fast-paced city with lots of fintech knowledge when you're looking in both person-to-person payments, you know, the PayPal origination out in California, Square, so lots of fintech knowledge. But when you look at Ottawa, we have a very strong ability to innovate and build products and build solutions. We have access to talent here, which is sometimes very hard to come by in San Francisco. So at this point in time with Ottawa, our Ottawa office is larger personnel-wise than our San Francisco office, but we've really built it out in both of these cities quite purposefully.
And it makes sense that Veem is the only company that's seen Ottawa and thought, oh, there's a lot of R&D talent there.
Yes.
You know, we've got two substantial universities and some college systems
Yes.
there, so an interesting pipeline that Veem and you, from your extensive knowledge and background here in Ottawa, knew to hopefully take advantage of in growing the company. So very interesting, as you said.
And it's both our R&D abilities, it's our marketing abilities. We've got a large sales group here in Ottawa. We do all of our customer service and operations. It's very interesting when you're building a company which is servicing globally. When you think about it, our Ottawa office, and what's nice about Ottawa is the diversity in our office and the cultural backgrounds in our office actually reflect our customer base really well. So yeah, Ottawa is a really strong complementary in our engineering, but really in all facets of our business.
Yeah, and that's an interesting distinction to make. Is it's not just a global giant landing in Ottawa trying to take advantage of the R&D talent. It is full service here for Veem,
Yes.
and really the second home, as you said, for the company.
Yes.
I'm curious what kind of momentum Veem has right now, and what are the next steps for the company at large. I know there's been huge growth in Canada actually for the company, but what is the trajectory like right now? Where is the company heading in your eyes in the next year or a few years as you're looking to make a big impact here in fintech?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, fintech is an extremely hot space, and you know, a lot of folks, when they're thinking fintech, they're thinking about, you know, mobile payments, everything going on in the lending space in fintech right now, lots of very strong innovation. You know, Veem specifically focused on small businesses and the mid-market businesses. This is a market, I've been in many industries, there is nothing is ripe for the fixing. They are so hungry for solutions because these small businesses are stuck between not being a personal payment and not getting the attention from their banks of a large corporation. So they are ripe for solutions, and they really want solutions that are as easy as their personal payments. And so what's interesting about the Veem solution is when I send money to you on a payment network, which is a bit different, is I'm not likely the only person that you are receiving funds from. And so you start to receive funds from other folks that have to pay you. So in the Veem circumstances, it really is about our network growth. So we're actually going to do another round of funding, which we will likely close early next year. And those funds are very dedicated to our network growth. We are really at the position now of really starting to hit our stride and that trajectory. So that includes both the San Francisco and Ottawa offices, and really strongly focused on building out the solutions for the small businesses that involve moving the money cross-border, plus the other solutions that they need to run their businesses effectively, even involving their working capital, for example. Canada is a great example of a market that we, more recently started to focus on what we call a corridor, Canada and the US, or Canada to other international. And our small businesses are just as starved for ways to effectively get their funds out to both the suppliers of services and goods around the world, and that's what we're offering in the Canadian payments.
For sure. Like you said, a sizable demand for this kind of solution, and lovely to see or hear about how an Ottawa base is affecting Canadian businesses around the world, and hopefully when companies are seeing that Veem tag on their payments coming up, they'll recognize that know where it's coming from. Kanata and Silicon Valley making an impact in fintech. So Sheila, really appreciate you coming on the show today to let us know about actually what is happening in Ottawa, where there's some fintech disruption actually happening. So great to hear that story.
Perfect.
Thank you for coming on.
Great to be here. Thanks, Craig.
Awesome. Now, before I let you go, I want to take a quick moment and thank some of our sponsors, without whom Techopia Live would not be possible. I want to start with numbercrunch, offering virtual CFO services to SaaS firms. There's Perley-Robertson, Hill & McDougall, a leader in business tech law. There's TD Bank, offering specialized programs for tech firms. There's Stratford Managers, offering services to help you scale up your tech venture. There's the University of Ottawa Faculty of Engineering, creating the next generation of technical talent. And there's KRP Properties, offering so much more than just space. Now, Techopia Live is not just this fantastic show. We are also available online at obj.ca/Techopia with daily articles covering Ottawa's tech scene. You can follow us on social, on Facebook and Twitter at Techopia OTT. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please leave us a like and a comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more of our weekly tech interviews. Apart from that, I just want to thank you very much for joining us for this past week's episode of Techopia Live. We will see you next week for the next episode. Bye-bye.